Hello, and welcome to the second edition of Learning Factory Developer Diaries. Just last week, we have released a very first major content update to our game, which we have been working on for almost 2 months. So let's jump right into Code About Learning Factory and see what's new. So perhaps the most notable thing is our character's updated looks. Now there is a cat sort of watching around, looking at your work. But most importantly, we have finished the first iteration of our brand new tile-generated map. If you haven't seen it in development, here is how it used to look. And here it is now, with smoother shorelines and whatnot. But why walk around the map when you can glide around the map? Just research hoverboard in the monument and then press Shift to start gliding around your factory as seen in the movies. Speaking of research tree, if you want to speed up things at your factory, do as I do and create a bunch of labs along with a bunch of shops for generating the data which powers your research on the factory. By the way, in this version the research will be happening even if there is no data, but it will go on a much slower pace, so make sure you create those labs, hire researchers, and connect them to shops so they could generate data. And also, of course, make sure that your stores are selling stuff. Back to the research tree though. There is a bunch of new things happening over there. For example, this vertical cable thing, which will be useful if you play in our brand new free play mode, which allows you to generate a map according to the parameters you have selected. I have relocated my Sphinx to this little island in the middle of the ocean, just because it seemed badass to me at the moment. So here is where vertical cables come in handy. You just put your vertical cable unit on the surface, pretty much the same way you do with the tunnels. And then you press tab and switch to underground layer, and then you can see where this cable goes. The underground layer doesn't look very impressive yet, but we'll get there. Anyway, here are some of my underground communications with a whole bunch of resources flowing on the transporter lines. But let's take a second and get to that Sphinx on the island. Kinda looks like an evil genius lair, but this island seems kinda small for an evil genius lair, doesn't it? So another thing that comes along with our new map is our brand new terraforming tool, which is regulated by a separate branch on the research tree. And basically what it does, it allows you to research and craft all kinds of terrain and shape your map the way you want it to be. And even get rid of those islands and create a bridge between them, or I don't know, whatever. You can also delete parts of the map and make some more ocean for you. Another feature which terraforming allows is lifting plants from the ground or crafting them in your inventory and placing them on the map wherever you want it to be. To show you where it might come in handy, I will have to go to the other island of mine, to this one in particular, to which I have moved all of my cotton plants from the first and the main island, where my stores are. So here we are. Here's my very own set of cotton fields, producing yarn balls, which then go through underground tunnels to my stores, to be sold to cats, to generate data, to power up my research so I could research more stuff. As you can see, there are now two kinds of terrain in the game, one the regular sandy looking one, and the other is more lively green fertile terrain. Fertile terrain is great for growing plants such as cotton plants and apple trees, while regular trees would grow pretty much everywhere. And you can plant apple trees or cotton plants to regular kind of soil as well, but they will grow at a significantly slower pace. If a plant is not harvested and has no place to grow, like these cotton plants in the right part of the screen, in this case the plant will increase the fertility of the tile below it, but it cannot change the biome type. But it will come in handy if you want to plant some other kinds of greenery there in the future, and it will grow faster. Additionally, there are also two types of waters in the game now: the light blue regular water and the darker blue abundant waters. The latter are perfect for placing our brand new building, the one and only fishing pier. So let me just try and look for the place to set it up. It's not animated yet because we have just added it in this latest build, but it does a very important thing. As you might notice, the fish maker, which makes fish out of thin air, has moved a little bit further on the research tree. It's now a rather expensive building to research, and while you are collecting data and establishing production to make it happen, you can research a fishing pier, which will also gather fish for you, but will do so at a rather slow pace. But also it works automatically, so you don't have to actually do anything. What you can do is make sure that you place your fishing pier near abundant waters, because they will ensure the fastest rate of production. If a pier is placed by regular waters, it will work at a slower pace. Also, the speed of fishing pier to operate depends on the overall parameter of fertility, which you're able to set up while generating your map in the editor. To conclude today's edition of our developer diaries, let's take a quick look on our brand new free play mode, which allows you to create all kinds of maps just by switching a couple of parameters. So if you want a map with a bunch of islands, pretty much like I had in today's video, you can decrease the land coverage a little bit, well, maybe not as much, and play with density parameters, or maybe centralization parameters, and there you go. You can also create a whole bunch of challenges for yourself, increasing or decreasing the amount of certain resources on the map. Say you want a map with pretty much no cotton or no forest at all, and that's very possible. Or you want to change the distribution of resources, in which case you can play around with density. But most importantly, there is this map key, which you can copy and paste and share with your friends, so they could join you for a challenge of building a rather complicated map, for example. I will leave the key to this map in the description to this video, just for the hell of it. And that's about it for today, folks. We will now switch to working on new researches along with some other stuff that we will show you in the upcoming weeks. If you want to follow our progress, you can follow us on social networks, or look up and check our public roadmap, or join us during our bi-monthly live streams that happen on Twitch, Steam, and YouTube as well. Thank you for being with us today. My name is Georgie, this game is Learning Factory, and we'll see each other next month.